Hey everybody, I'm Samwise, this is Sierra Alpha Tango, the channel where I very occasionally post videos about backpacking, my favorite hobby. So it turns out one of my most popular videos has been one where I talk about how I do the dishes in the field. And it's probably my favorite video because I got to help people. I got to provide useful information. It's not a whole lot of weird thought leader stuff. It's just more like, this is how I do something, this is why I like it, this is how it works. I got distracted by my cat. So I thought I would follow that up with another helpful, informative video that doesn't get too far into telling people how they should do things. And I thought I'd talk about backpacking stoves, because that's one of my biggest obsessions. I tend to collect them, and so I thought I'd go through my loadout. So here is the fleet! Well, not all of it. Things are pruned out for redundancy because I do have a couple extra liquid and multi-fuel stoves. I'm obsessed, and I'm sorry about that. First off, this is not a stove, this is a baby monitor. I'm filming this while my daughter takes a nap. I just want to keep a close eye on her because I really only have however long it takes for her to recharge her batteries. So I have these arranged roughly by expense, roughly, and I'll get into that why. It's debatable which of these are more expensive, but we'll start with a bone to the cold soaker crowd. Yes, this is a Talentee Gelato Jar. There's that adage they always say, I think Darwin says it, like, buy the container, you get free ice cream, and that's true. Cold soaking works. This is lightweight, it's compact, it's cheap. I'm not a big fan of cold soaking. I've done it a bunch. A hot meal just means too much to me at the end of the day, so very viable option. And I keep one around because I try not to limit myself to one methodology. Next up is a Supercat stove, which is an alcohol stove. I have a video of me making these. It's not a very good video, and it's actually been limited because it has a copyright claim against it. I used a song by my favorite bluesman, C6 Steve. I'm learning, you know. Supercat stoves, they're like entry-level alcohol stove. You put denatured alcohol in it, you light it up. Once it's good and going, you put a pan on top of it, it boils stuff very quickly. If you want something more sophisticated, this is a stove by Trail Designs. You can still see that it's made from a Pepsi can, but it's double layered, so it helps evaporate and oxidize fuel more efficiently. By and large, I've stopped using alcohol stoves, and the main reason is because California has made it illegal to sell denatured alcohol in hardware stores. They're cracking down on pollution from volatile organic compounds, or VOCs, and it's all related to conservation and keeping people healthy, and it's a good thing. It's a frustration, but it's a good thing. Moving on up the line would be a pressurized canister stove, and this one cost me about $30. It is an Optimus, what is it? It's an Optimus Crux Lite. They make two versions of the Crux and the Crux Lite. The standard one folds. I have an operating premise of keep it simple, stupid, so I went with the non-folding one. This thing has been with me through a lot of great adventures. When I'm taking 2 people or so, it's perfect. This is the one that my wife has seen me use the most because it's the one I take with her. They are fairly heavy on the grand scheme of things. It has to do with these isopropane canisters. They do weigh a lot. They're good though. There's a lot of fuel density there. Kinds of stoves would be kind of the backbone, the one you'll see people using the most. And there's nothing wrong with them. They work great. Moving on up. Somewhere in between these two would be like a wood-burning stove. I don't have any wood-burning stoves. I need to take care of that. This is my solid fuel stove. It's a modified Esbit titanium tripod stove with a Caldera cone. I have it set up to run my 600 milliliter Snow Peak mug with a lid from 4 Dog Stoves. This has become my go-to stove. Now that I'm a dad, by and large, what I'm doing when I'm backpacking is 1 night, maybe 2, and I'm trying to get as much mileage in as possible, and so I wanted something that was light and compact. This one, I plan on doing a whole episode on, because it deserves, there's a lot of cool thought. Well, cool to me, thought, that I'm proud of that went into this. And I want it to get its day in the sun, but as it is, this has become my go-to. It is fantastic. It heats the exact amount of water I need for 1 dinner and a cup of tea every night. It weighs very little. It's quiet. This is my favorite stove that I've bought as an adult. I'm going to say that right now. Moving on up, this is my favorite stove of all time. I bought this when I was 16. I used the proceeds from my very first paycheck as a Nature Merit Badge counselor at the Camp Masonite Navarro Boy Scout camp here in my area. It's not actually my first backpacking stove. My first backpacking stove is a Primus Optimus, not Primus Optimus, Primus VeriFuel that this bottle is from, ironically. I saw this on display at my local REI and I loved the weird cyclone design to it, and it's my favorite stove. This thing can run on gasoline, it can run on white gas, it can run on diesel, it can run on oilseed rape, it can run on denatured alcohol. It's a great stove. It is heavy. It's awesome if you have a group of like 4 or more people, because then you can distribute the weight of cooking gear across them. So I haven't used it as much. The other reason is I have another special episode planned, but it also broke down and I finally got it back into operation. As it is, I keep it in my truck. The fact that it can run on gasoline means that I can top it off. I can siphon a little fuel out of my truck if I need to, and I can have a hot meal or drink. This thing's been with me through a lot of great adventures, and I will never give it up. Finally, my most expensive stove is the younger sibling of my Optimus Nova, and that is my Optimus... What is this thing? I don't know. It's not a Nova, is it? I forgot what it's called, but it's an Optimus MultiFuel stove, so it can use all of these liquid fuels that this one does, but it can also run on an isobutane container like this. So it has a little bit more versatility. I think it's a little bit lighter than my Nova. It's a good stove. They definitely improved a lot of the flaws the original Nova had, and it's a great little stove. Again, great for group gear. The main reason why I have it is because I am a bit of an Optimus hooer, and I like their equipment. I have this dream of someday owning all of the major stoves they make, like the Spea and the Vega and all those, so it's weird collector stuff, but I have it up here because multi-fuel stoves are a very valid option. These are the kinds of stoves that you would take, like I said, a group, or if you were snowshoeing. So that just about sums up the range of options available to anyone looking to buy a backpacking stove. There's really no way you can go wrong, unless you light a forest on fire, in which case you've gone very wrong. But as far as what to choose, it's whatever suits your style. So if you are over here doing more expedition weight stuff, these are great options. If you're doing 2 or 3 people and you can split up some weight, isobutane always works. If you are trying to watch your ounces, then I love these lightweight options. And I think I mentioned it earlier, I try not to limit myself to one style. I try to explore, because I love all of backpacking. All of it is my favorite thing to do, and I want to experience as much of it as possible. So that's why I have these. That's why I encourage you to try things and not limit yourself to one system. And I encourage you to subscribe, press the like button, and leave a comment below, please. I want to know what you use. I want to know what you like, what you hate. If you think I'm a big oaf for any of these options, let me know. I'll be happy to banter back with you. Thank you for tuning in, and have a wonderful